All right, let's try our Inspired by Nature card. So these are kind of the parts you should have. All right, yours won't have speckles yet, but we're going to add those. I was testing. All right, so one of the first things you can do is just fold your crumb cake base. All right, and then you have this piece of designer series paper. Yours looks a wee bit different than mine, but that's okay. And I'm just gonna rough the edges up with my snips. We used to have a great tool that did this, and I don't have that anymore. So we're gonna just use our snips to give that a little bit of a frayed look. Okay, we want this to be kind of vintagey, kind of, you know, a little aged. The designer series paper we're using looks that way anyway. So let's see what we can do here. And just rough that up. There. Now I have little paper shavings all over the place. That's okay. All right. So I am going to use my Stamparatus, and I've kind of done a light stamping, so you kind of know where to put your piece of Fairy Vanilla. I'm going to turn mine this way. So it kind of wants to go right here in this little spot, and I'm going to just put a magnet way at that corner and way at this corner, and that should help it stay put. Whoops, and knock my poor Memento black off the table. All right, so let's see. Yep, no magnets interfering. We should be good. Let's just scoot over a little bit. I've got the soft pastels ready to color with. Okay, so let's get that. There's the top. All right, so let's just put this right here. I didn't bring my tool over. I found that using a dry eraser works great. Okay. There. Okay. Now, what we can do is I've got some blender pens. Okay. And you can just color your cone flowers. I'm going to pick up a little bit of the red and just shade in a little bit. Okay. So I'm just going to pick up a little of that and just add some of that. There we go. All right, let's do all my cone flowers that way. So just add a little bit of that red. Some is lighter, some is stronger. Up to you. And then once I'm done with a color, I'm going to just clean it off on some scratch paper, which I have across from me. So I'll just rub it till it's clean. And by clean, I mean till it's, when I roll it and scribble, nothing comes off. Now, you may still have some staining, and that's okay. All right, so then we'll go get this darker. This is actually the mango, and that's the lighter. So I'm going to use the darker for the center, like this. And I like that one. Okay, so we're just filling in a little bit. This one doesn't really have it, but because it's just opening, whatever, I'm gonna actually do this one a little darker. I noticed with my own coneflowers that they opened and their petals were a very deep color, and then as the bloom went along over the days, it faded some. So there's that. And I'll clean that one off. And then I'll go get this yellow and take that in here and kind of go back over the red, and that's going to give me a little bit of blending. Okay. And what you're going to be left with is this little bit of a chalky kind of look, which I really like. Alright, so I'm going to finish a little bit more, and then I'm going to go on to the spatters. The spatters are, you know, going to be messy, so beware, be alert to your workspace, so that you don't end up with early espresso ink everywhere. So I did a pretty good job getting it all over the place earlier. There. All right, let me get that cleaned off. So I mixed the two greens. So our two greens are the Mossy Meadow and the Granny Apple Green. And I wanted something a little bit in between. So I mixed them together because I didn't want my leaves too dark and I didn't want them too light. So I mixed it together and got a really nice, I think, green. Okay. And by starting where the lines are the darkest, you can kind of blend out. So see, I'll start where the lines are darkest, And then as I use up the pastels, I can get a lighter shade. Okay. So, almost done with these. I just don't want them to have so much speckle in them that it's hard to color. All right. A little bit more here. There. There. Okay. Let's get rid of the green off the blender pen. There we go. Okay. So what I have mixed up, and I think I'm going to grab this paper. Whoops. Let's see if I can do it without wrecking the joint. Okay. So this is where I started my speckles earlier. Let's double this up. Now what I did was I put a little bit, I don't know, 4 or 5 drops of early espresso re-inker in there. And then I spritzed some water in there, so I got it so that it's pretty wet but pretty concentrated in color. And what you want to do is get some on your brush, but not so much that you're going to have huge blobs. And you want to go a pretty fair distance away. And my splashes are going here, so I'm going to try. There we go. So you're just going to, whoops, try not to hit your work, because then you'll end up with that in the middle. You don't want that. You're going to get most of it off. And you just want to hit your finger a little bit to get some of those speckles to age it just a little bit. Okay, so a paintbrush will work, a water painter will work. Lots of ways you can get to make those speckles. Okay, all right. I'm going to probably want to rinse that. All right, so then this piece can layer onto this one. Whoops. There we go. On here. Okay. Then going to add the designer series paper. You'll notice mine is a little narrower than what you end up with, but that's okay. All right. Then what I did with my wheat, because I wanted it to stay pretty close, I actually kind of gathered the stems down at the bottom and used a glue dot. There's one. Whew, that was way in there. So I just put them all kind of together like that. And then I added a couple of glue dots up near the top. So we'll just find some spots where I can fit one. Like that. Okay. And if you just kind of fold them in, if you have some of the really little glue dots that come in a paper pumpkin kit or something, those work great because they're nice and little. But you can kind of roll these like that. And stick them in some little spots there. There. that. Ooh, now it's getting all stuck to me. Those glue dots are super sticky. All right. So this can go up here. Right. Like that. Then you can add your cork paper. This is fabulous stuff. It's nice and lightweight, but it really does feel like cork, which is pretty cool. Okay. Like that. And then this can have dimensionals. Whoa, that was kind of a lot. I don't think I need quite that many. That's probably better. Let's put a few of those back. Let's put one more over here. Okay, maybe I did need almost all of those. All right, let's give those a little press. Makes it, with my thumbnail, it makes it a little easier to get the backings off. Oh, sounds like Wondrous Roots is coming down the hall with their dishes and things. I can usually hear them coming. There we go. And some of your grass may be peeping out and get covered, but that's okay. No worries. There you go. Isn't that pretty? Love that one.